Okay, so I lied. I know I said the last video on the A74 was going to be my last video, but it looks like we have some official leaked specs from the horse's mouth, and I have to talk about them. In the next few days, we're going to get the A74 finally dropping, and I am so excited for it, obviously. And I wanted to share some of the specs and talk about the one thing that I'm really disappointed about this camera in particular. So let's talk about them. Let's go through and talk about some of the awesome stuff, and then, of course, the one that I'm just really hoping is an error or something, because it's a little bit devastating for me. So number one, we know that we're getting an all new 33 megapixel sensor, a great improvement on the 24 megapixel sensor beast that served us well for so many years. But some of us and a lot of photographers would love to have some extra cropping power, and now we've got it. And don't worry, the new sensor is also going to provide 15 plus stops of dynamic range, so we're not going to have to sacrifice anything. So that is absolutely amazing. And that's going to be coupled with Sony's new XR processor found in the A7S3. So you know this thing's going to be able to keep up with whatever, and it's going to need that for their 4K 60 recording in, yes, 10-bit. This is phenomenal, but it looks like it's going to be capped at 4K. There's not going to be any 6 or 8K recording, which is really not a big deal. It could be definitely oversampled and then brought back down to 4K to look really, really good. And it's also going to have Cinetone and everything you're looking for, pretty much, except for some of the major stuff. And of course, it's going to be capped at 4K 60, so you won't get that 120 that you have in the A7S3. So again, you can't cannibalize other cameras to, some extent, but there are some really, really good looking aspects of the A74 here. Next up, we've got a flippy screen confirmed, so you video shooters can rejoice, as well as the vloggers and whatnot. And as a photographer primarily, I could take it or leave it, and it's going to be great for the studio here. But yeah, it's just one extra feature that I think pretty much every camera these days, unless you're looking at some crazy dedicated photography camera, is going to and should have. Of course, we can expect the amazing battery life that we've come to expect from every Sony camera moving forward, Z-type no doubt. And it looks like the amazing autofocus system has been much improved as well. Of course, offering eye autofocus for animals, of course, humans, and now birds. So I would love to see how that looks, and I'm pretty excited for that. And it's also being improved and included in video shooting as well. So very good to hear, and it looks like it's going to be the ultimate jack of all trades camera so far. But what else is there? It's going to have an upgraded body with better weather sealing and the heat sink apparently from the A7S3, which is great. That means no overheating in video. It's going to have a silent shutter, of course, and if they know what's good for them, I would probably recommend that they definitely upgrade their shutter reliability, because that's a bit of a sore spot for a few people out there. Yes, we know. And I pray that they've also included the ability to close that shutter automatically when we're turning off the camera or changing lenses or what have you, because that is just one of the things that drives me insane about Sony cameras. So please. There's not a ton of the specifics of the physical aspects, but you can bet that the LCD and of course the EVF will be upgraded hugely over the A7 III, which is going to be magnificent. I cannot wait to get this thing in my hands to see the ergonomics that are going to be a little bit better, maybe a bit more rugged, and fit a bit better in the hand naturally, which is really cool to see. And it's also going to have an S&Q dial. So a little bit of touches here and there, little differences, but overall I think that we're trending toward a really, really good looking camera. And it looks like it's going to be a continuation of one of the best selling cameras of all time, the A7 III, and give most people exactly what they're looking for without getting into crazy specific professional range stuff like 61 megapixels or something if you need the ultimate resolution, or crazy low light capabilities like we find in the A7S III. It also, of course, will have IBIS and probably the same old 5.5 stops or 5 stops that we're used to, but it looks like they're also going to include active image stabilization, which is a game changer that you do see in some of Sony's newer cameras like the A7S III as well. So this is a really great additional feature, and you can bet that it'll probably have gyro data as well. So if you guys wanted to go in post and get some really stable footage at the expense of a crop, then that's available for you too. Other than that, it looks like this is being sold as a pro camera or a field camera, and yeah, maybe not so entry level. And the only thing that we don't really know is the price. So I'm really gonna hope and assume that it's around the $2,500 US mark, but that along with a few other things are yet to be seen. So what about the one thing that I'm really kind of bummed about if it is true? And yeah, what doesn't make sense for me, and that is the shooting speed. 10 frames per second shooting, the same as the old A7 and yeah, this is a bit disappointing to me as a wildlife shooter, as a sports shooter, and somebody who wants some crazy fast speed without dishing out for like an A9 or something. And it's disappointing because we know it's absolutely capable, especially with this brand new sensor that is way above and beyond able to shoot 10 frames per second. So let's hope that that's maybe an error, or maybe we can have a faster shooting speed in a firmware update. But yeah, that's the one thing that for me, the 10 frames was like, really? I think we're a little bit past that. And I think for sports shooters and what this camera is capable of, why would you limit it to that? It's definitely not anywhere close to the 30 or even the 20 of the A9. So why not 15? Why not 13? Why not something in the middle? But 10, yeah, I'm hurting for that. And I don't know, let me know your thoughts on this. What's missing for you? What are you super excited about? The day is coming, guys. We're just literally hours away at this point from the actual announcement, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my hands on this thing, and it's definitely gonna be a buy, a pre-order, and a use, and gonna be my main camera moving forward. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I know I said it was gonna be the last, and I'm gonna say it again. This is the last A74 video I'll make before I got this thing in my hands, and hopefully that's sooner than later. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button, join the community, and like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you soon.